Very much, everyone. Good afternoon to all of you, to my colleagues, to my students, to our guests coming from other schools. Thank you for coming to my Professorial Chair Lecture this afternoon on social enterprises in the Philippines lessons for developing Asia. I am Raymond Habaradas. But before I begin, I would like to thank the donor of the Ambassador Ramon V. Rosario Chair in Entrepreneurship and the Asian Development Bank for providing support that has allowed me to continue doing research about social entrepreneurship in the Philippines. And thank you to the Social Enterprise Research Network, headed by my former student, now colleague, Dr. Patch Aure, for being supportive of all the different endeavors that I have along the lines of social entrepreneurship. According to Robert McKee, storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world today. So this afternoon, I'm going to tell you 3 stories of successful Filipino social enterprises, namely Bote Central, Eco Store, and Hapinoy. The first business is Bote Central, a social enterprise founded by Basilio and by Reyes. While it is known as a coffee retailer, Bote Central is also engaged in different activities along the coffee value chain. Bote Central started helping upland coffee farmers by buying coffee beans at fair trade prices. It then later linked up the farmers with the Department of Agriculture, which provided training on the proper handling of coffee beans to minimize damage and waste. Over the years, Bote Central has partnered with several communities, including those in Benguet Province, in Mountain Province, in Mindoro Island, and even in Cotabato. In 2007, Bote Central introduced the novel idea of village-level coffee processing facilities in the Philippines that led to the creation of what we know as community-based coffee social enterprises, or CBCEs. So these small enterprises used an indigenous coffee roasting machine designed by Bote Central and built for the farmers, women, and youth in coffee-producing communities. Given a viable proof of concept, Bote Central was able to secure a 2 million peso grant that allowed it to provide technical assistance to coffee communities for them to be able to set up agribusiness systems and also to create training modules to help out these CBCEs. Through the Kapet Buhay program, farmers are trained to go into agribusiness and coffee, serve the coffee they produce to local communities, and transform the rural and poor markets into dealers or retailers of coffee, allowing these farmers to increase their income. In July 2013, Bote Central turned over Kapet Buhay to the Philippine Coffee Alliance, which adopted it as its flagship program. Additional support was provided by other organizations such as Globe Telecom, Foundation for Sustainable Society Incorporated, and the Peace and Equity Foundation. By January 2016, more than 34,000 farming households had benefited from increased coffee margins due to the establishment of 51 CBCEs, including those outside the Kapet Buhay program. By February 2020, about 90 roasting machines had been deployed all over the country, 50% of which are run, owned, and managed by farmer cooperatives or farmer associations. Because of the increased income, access to education, access to water and electricity, food on the table, and the use of gadgets at home are now more visibly apparent. In our interview with Vi Reyes, one of the owners, she said, "I have seen changes in behavior and mindset. Coffee farmers nowadays, at least the ones I am in contact with, are more vocal, passionate about coffee, and they willingly participate to learn more because they know they will earn more." Because of Kapet Buhay's success, Forest Foundation Philippines approached Bote Central and Pikay in 2018 to undertake the livelihood component of its comprehensive forest protection and conservation efforts in Mindanao. When we interviewed FFP back in 2021, the groundwork for the planned interventions targeting 14 communities located in Bukidnon and Misamis had already been done. The second business is EcoStore Sustainable Lifestyle, which is the first green retail store in the Philippines. Founded by Pasita Chitwan, Jenny Javilosa, and Dina Francisco, also known as the Eco Trio. So these ladies brought their extensive corporate and entrepreneurial experience to this venture that advocates sustainable living. EcoStore fulfills its social mission by serving as an outlet for products of small producers, craftsmen, and artisans, especially those coming from cultural communities and other marginalized groups. EcoStore helps micro-entrepreneurs build their capabilities in branding, product design, packaging, and costing. The Eco Trio eventually set up the EcoC Foundation, which received funds from individuals and institutions that wanted to support their advocacy and social mission. EcoC Foundation projects and partnerships are guided by three principles and platforms, namely good, green, and gender. Over the years, EcoStore, through the EcoC Foundation, has worked with different government and non-government organizations who are also advocating community development. So EcoStore has worked with the Peace and Equity Foundation and the Partnership and Access Center Consortium, Inc. in setting up eco-village stores throughout the country. It has also worked with the Department of Trade and Industry and the Philippine Commission of Women for the Great Women Program. The good thing about social enterprises working with government and non-government organizations is that the social enterprise does not have to use its own resources to create social value, because these government agencies and NGOs are the one providing the money, the resources to help these communities. And it is, in this case, EcoStore providing the technical expertise. So it does not affect the economic viability of the business because the business is somewhat insulated from the challenges of producing the social value. In 2013, beneficiaries included approximately 500 women, plus about 900 more through Cascade workshops, impacting 28,500 women, their own supply chains, and their household members. The Great Women Project Phase 1 assisted 7,331 women micro-entrepreneurs in 204 groups across 45 local government units, giving them increased access to public and private sector programs and services, thus expanding their market access opportunities. The third business is Happinoy. In 2007, Microventures Inc. launched the Happinoy Store Program, which is geared towards helping sari-sari store owners increase their income. Leveraging microfinancing as a way to empower socially and economically challenged families, Happinoy's business model is anchored on the economies of scale. The Happinoy Store Program starts with the infusion of capital to an existing sari-sari store in a specific town. This store is converted into a community store, which is set up to service 100 to 120 smaller stores on average. By providing these stores with a direct link to the factories of companies such as Unilever and Nestle, Happinoy enables store owners to gain as much as 15% savings in acquiring goods. This has resulted to higher margins for the store and lower prices for its buyers. Happinoy has since evolved into a full-service micro-entrepreneur enhancement program. It provides business management and personal development trainings for store owners, provides access to additional capital to help store owners grow their business, and helps store owners expand by including value-added goods into their operations. Happinoy also equips store owners with skills training on digital technology and creates a network of business owners that serve as peer learning and support group. Since its inception, Happinoy has trained over 14,000 micro-entrepreneurs, helping uplift their lives and allowing them to provide more for their families and their communities. It has become a wide network of micro, small, medium, and large enterprises through which community stores and sari-sari stores serve as hubs for goods and services that are then made conveniently available to buyers that mostly belong to the base of the pyramid. So the three stories that I shared with you are examples of viable social entrepreneurship, which is a management process that produces both economic and social value through the improved use of resources. Social entrepreneurship is also defined as a business process that produces innovative solutions to address a social issue and that subsequently mobilizes resources for social transformation. The vehicle for social entrepreneurship is the social enterprise. Social enterprises create new business models for the provision of products and services that cater to basic human needs that current economic and social institutions have failed to satisfy. They are also known as hybrid organizations because of their pursuit of multiple objectives. Social enterprises are neither typical charities nor typical businesses. Rather, they combine aspects of both. Their primary objective is to deliver social value to the beneficiaries of their social mission, and their primary revenue source is commercial, relying on markets instead of donations or grants to sustain themselves and to scale their operations. According to a 2017 study funded by the British Council, social enterprise activity in the Philippines is taking off, with the number of social enterprise startups having more than tripled in just a decade. The study estimated as many as 164,473 Philippine-based social enterprises. These graphs show us that most of the social enterprise leaders fall under the age range of 35 to 44 and 45 to 54. But what is nice here is that a substantial number of startups, social entrepreneurs startups, are led by social entrepreneurs that are less than 35 years old. In terms of gender, 56% of social enterprise leaders in the Philippines are male, while 44% are female. When compared to other Asian countries, we have a much bigger proportion of female social enterprise leaders, because in countries such as Bangladesh, India, or Pakistan, the proportion of women social entrepreneurs are only 20% compared to our 44%. In terms of social enterprise sectors, 19% of those surveyed are in the agriculture sector, 9% are in education, 9% are in business development, 8% are in financial services, and 8% are in employment creation. According to the same study, the top 10 social enterprise objectives are as follows: creating employment, alleviating poverty, improving a community, empowering marginalized groups, selling a good or product, protecting the environment, supporting vulnerable peoples, supporting other social enterprises, supporting small producers in agricultural value chains, and enabling women or girls as economic actors. The top 9 beneficiaries include the local community, NGOs and micro enterprises, women, employees of the organization, farmers and landless rural workers, young people, indigenous people, underserved regions or communities, and victims of disasters and calamities. Among the major barriers to growth of social enterprises in the Philippines are those related to financing and also to the shortage and quality of human resources, as you can see. So given the different challenges faced by social enterprises in the Philippines, it's good that we have social business incubators that play a vital role. Recognizing that social enterprises require a great deal of support at the startup and at the early stage phases, several social business incubators have been set up to create an environment that encourages the growth of social enterprises as they attempt to scale their operations. Among the well-established social business incubators in the Philippines are Gawat Kalinga Enchanted Farm and Will Grow Philippines. GKEF focuses on startup social enterprises that are mostly set up by young individuals. GKEF brands itself as a farm village university, a Disneyland for social tourism, and a Silicon Valley for social entrepreneurship. These are some of the many social enterprises that have incubated in Gawat Kalinga Enchanted Farm, and some of these are quite popular, including Bayani Brew, Mad Travel, and Plush and Play. The second social enterprise that I'm featuring this afternoon is Will Grow Philippines, which focuses on the needs of early stage social businesses that seek to scale but that need extra support to bring their ventures to the next level. Will Grow Philippines supports innovative business models that seek solutions to challenges in the following areas: agriculture and fisheries, affordable healthcare, education and employment, and climate crisis. By the end of the incubation cycle, Will Grow's incubatees would have achieved a market-validated business model that is ready to scale, a core team with structured roles and with appropriate skills, and a thriving work culture, and an investment-ready business that has clear financial projections and strong financial management processes, among others. So you can see here that what Will Grow Philippines is doing are really aligned with the challenges that I showed you earlier, financing and human resource management issues. Among the social enterprises under the portfolio of Will Grow Philippines are Tinker House, Socialite Inc., Sustancia, Balay Kamay, Risque Designs, Happy Helpers, Ruma Racket Limited Inc., and Kubo Modular. In the Philippines, we have a group of concerned stakeholders known as the Philippine Social Enterprise Network, which is pushing for the passing of the Poverty Reduction to Social Entrepreneurship or present bill. Among the support mechanisms included in that bill are funds for research and development, loans, capacity building activities, preferential procurement for social enterprises, facilitation of market access and linkage to the value chain, and insurance for social enterprises in times of disaster. The bottom line is that the Philippines has a vibrant and dynamic social enterprise community with a strong ecosystem of support. If you're interested to know more about the stories of the social enterprises and the social business incubators that I talked about this afternoon, just wait for my publication about the article that will be published by Asian Development Bank, maybe sometime October and November. So what are the implications for policy and practice? The experience of social enterprises in the Philippines provides some useful lessons for other developing countries in Asia. To overcome the challenge of simultaneously achieving their economic, social, and environmental goals, social enterprises can create a brand identity that will distinguish them from their competitors and enhance their social value proposition by co-creating value with multiple stakeholders. These are evident in the case of Bote Central, EcoStore, and Hapinoy. Government, on the other hand, can set the stage for an ecosystem of support for social enterprises by channeling resources to social business incubators and by encouraging cross-sector collaborations that address the sustainable development goals. Social enterprises typically start as small initiatives that seek to address local problems such as access to water, waste management, promoting small business creation, and reintegration of individuals into the workforce. Given that these initiatives have a local expression but global relevance, they have a potential to be replicated in other geographical areas, as exemplified by Grameen Bank's microfinance model. Social entrepreneurship, therefore, has profound implications in the economic system, as it results in the creation of new industries, the validation of new business models, and the redirection of resources to neglected social problems. So for Philippine social enterprises or Asian social enterprises to make substantial inroads in reducing poverty, ensuring universal education and employment, providing affordable healthcare, and mitigating climate change, these social enterprises must engage in multi-sectoral collaboration. By working with big business, government, and non-government organizations, and by utilizing innovative business models, social enterprises in Asia can achieve their potential as vehicles for economic development and social transformation. Let me end my lecture by quoting Bill Gates, who said, "Humanity's greatest advances are not in its discoveries, but in how those discoveries are applied to reduce inequity." Thank you very much, everyone, for your time and your attention.